One of India's closest partners is Israel. It's a relationship that's really flourished over the last couple of decades. We've seen it improve in terms not just of defense and diplomacy, but also science and agriculture in many areas. We have a shared concern on terrorism, whichever part of the world it emanates from, and indeed the process of change in the relationship between two sides to make it even better is something we are both looking at. We have a very special guest with us. Nir Barkat is the Economy Minister of Israel. Mr. Barkat, it's the second time you're speaking. It's wonderful
Thank you very much for
to have
hosting
you over here. And what is a beautiful day in Davos.
Yes, indeed.
But I must ask you about a very pressing issue, and that issue, of course, is Iran. There are massive protests on the ground. Is it your sense that the Khamenei regime, in a finite period of time, will be overthrown?
Well, from the Israeli perspective, Iran, unfortunately, in the last few decades, has been the head of the evil axis. They put a target to destroy the state of Israel. I want to remind everyone. They wanted to create a nuclear bomb in order to use it against us. They created thousands of ballistic missiles, and they used proxy strategies, strengthened Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and they proposed an imminent threat to Israel. So thank God, in the last round of violence, we dramatically crippled them and actually hit them very hard and demonstrated that they're not as big and strong as they thought. I believe it influenced the whole region. And now they got to get their act together. I think that Iran has to understand that we targeted them once, we hit them hard, and if they try to pick a fight with us, we'll hit them harder 7 times. So it is amazing to me how the world doesn't care about what's happening internally in Iran. All the protests that were pro-Palestinian, where are you? Where's the world trying to defend the people of Iran that want to liberate from the jihadi leadership they have?
But sir, here's the part which I don't understand, because there may be American strikes, there may be Israeli strikes in the future, we don't know. But would military strikes necessarily improve the condition of people protesting? Would that result in a regime change? You can target their military, but how does that help the protesters?
The Israeli interest is to defend Israel. Okay, and maybe the world and the neighbors of Iran would like to see a regime change. We're focusing on what our interests are. And if they propose a threat, we will hit them hard. If they want to overthrow their regime, it's in Iran's best interest, and we have enough challenges of our own.
Prime Minister Netanyahu has said several times in the past that your adversary is the regime in Iran. It's not the Iranian people. Do you believe, again, in a finite period of time, we may be in a situation where there is a fundamental association between people in Iran and people in Israel, which was inconceivable even now?
Mind you, I want to remind everyone that we have peace with Egypt over 40 years.
Yes, that's true.
Egypt was the biggest enemy in our region. 40 years we have peace with them. With Jordan, which again we had wars with, we have peace almost 30 years. The Abraham Accords, we've expanded in the last 5 years, and it's looking really, really successful with the Emirates and others. And we're hopeful that our enemies become friends. So we would like to see that happen. And if and when Iran will change its direction and want to seek peace with Israel, we'd be happy to collaborate with them.
Let's turn our attention a little bit onto the other big issue, of course, is India and your country. You've met our Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, Foreign Minister Jay Shankar on a couple of occasions.
Yes, indeed.
And then, of course, there's the India-Middle East Economic Corridor, which leads up from one of our ports all the way to Haifa. What is the potential of that?
Huge. Look, I think until a few years ago, India was focused on itself. And I believe that India is on the fast track for growth. You have the right strategies. I'm impressed by the strategy of Piyush Goyal, Minister of Economy, and Jay Shankar. They get it. We see India not just as a country of 1.4 billion people, but as gateway to Asia. We bring innovation, you bring scale. And together, 1 + 1 = 10.
Right. Right.
And so now we're in the process of really articulating. We just in December 24, Piyush Goyal and myself decided to exchange missions. I brought 100 CEO missions February last year. Mr. Goyal brought 60 CEO missions to Israel December last almost a month and a half ago. And now we have terms of reference to create a fast track of a free trade agreement. And we're really optimistic that exchange of business to business people, we both felt the vibes in the air.
Right.
Very, very strong vibes of success and will to collaborate together. Let me make one point. The people of India and the people of Israel, the people to people, excellent relationship. The government to government, excellent relationship. And the business community feels that because of that, it's great to do business in India. And I'm very optimistic as to the future.
There's also, of course, now it's about time that there is peace in your region. I'm talking about the Gaza situation. A couple of months back, I visited the kibbutz in Israel, which was the first kibbutz, which was attacked by terrorists, from Hamas terrorists. But there has been a massive loss of life in Gaza. People say it's disproportionate. The numbers are staggering. And I don't think it's in anyone's interest that innocent people lose their life. What is the road ahead in terms of the Trump proposal for peace? Do you believe it is viable? How soon can it be done?
We want to thank Trump and the countries that are joining that board of peace. I think it's a good step to collaborate. We feel it's a better alternative than the UN, which is biased. These are people that want to seek solutions. The challenge is on the ground. I believe that until you have local leadership that wants to join the Abraham Accords and to de-radicalize their education system and to seek win-win deals with Israel, until we have such leadership, it's not going to work. Only until we have that leadership, it will work.
How does that leadership emerge?
Well, I'll give you an example. I've been speaking to the leaders of Hebron, the city of Hebron, which is 500,000 people strong, the biggest city in Judea and Samaria. And the sheikhs there gave us a letter of intent saying they want to join the Abraham Accords. They want to leave the PA. They want to do everything opposite from the PA, to recognize Israel as the state of the Jewish people, to collaborate on the economic side, to fight terror with us. That is the role model that we'd like to see develop all over Judea and Samaria. So I believe that the solution in Gaza goes through Hebron.
Right.
Once you have a role model of collaboration between local leadership, sheikhs that live there, they told me, Minister Barkat, we live here 700 years. And you brought those corrupt Palestinians from Tunisia. And all they did is damage us, damage you. We want to collaborate with Israel. That's a good example of how local leadership, Arab local leadership in Judea and Samaria would like to work with the settlers. By the way, they get along really well with the settlers in Judea and Samaria. So we can create a win-win deal based on not a Palestinian state, but the emirate model. They want to become an emirate. So imagine you have a number of emirates in Judea and Samaria that collaborate with Israel, like the Emirates. The Emirates is their role model. And since we have the deal with the Abraham Accord with the Emirates, the United Emirates, over 600 Israeli companies are located in the Emirates. Our trade grew to $5 billion in just 5 years, just to demonstrate what we could do together with the leaders of Hebron, and hopefully one day with leaders in Gaza, when they come to the plate and say, hey, we change our course. We don't want to destroy the state of Israel. We believe in coexistence. Once that happens, that umbrella of that President Trump is developing will be effective.
You talk about potentially smaller emirates, which may be created as a solution. But then there are many, including India, who continue to believe in the two-state solution. That remains problematic for you, right?
It's a non-starter. Israel will never agree to this. We have 120 parliament members. 99 voted against it just less than a year ago, because the intention of the Palestinian Authority and people that want a two-state is not to recognize Israel as a Jewish state, but first phase have that state and then destroy us.
Right.
The Palestinian Authority is paying $1 million to a terrorist that kills an Israeli. The Emirates of Hebron, will fight against terrorism. Will be exactly the opposite, because they recognize us as a state. Today, in Gaza, every dollar you put, you're not going to get 10 cents on the dollar. Because unfortunately, it's not to create jobs, it's not to create the economy. Unfortunately, in Gaza, they've demonstrated that everything they did is to have another October 7. They praise October 7, they want to do it again. In Hebron, every dollar you invest, you get $10 back. So I believe, as a Minister of Economy and Industry, and being Mayor of Jerusalem for 10 years, okay, and being an ex-high-tech entrepreneur, I see the potential. So I think that it's good that we have this board, but practically on the ground, we need local leadership that recognizes us and wants to develop a strategic relationship, a peace relationship with Israel.
In terms of the stabilization force, and this is something which many in India would be wanting, will Israel accept Pakistani soldiers? It's been proposed at some levels, pretty vague, but still.
Any country that supported terror is not welcome to have put soldiers on the ground in Gaza. We will not accept the Qataris, the Turks, because they've been very supportive of the jihadi organization in Gaza, and we will not trust them having boots on the ground. We don't mind that they're part of the larger organization under Trump's leadership, okay? But boots on the ground, not adversaries to Israel.
And that includes Pakistan, just so that I'm clear.
Yes.
And a final question. We had an 88-day war between India and Pakistan in May. It was called Op Sindoor. It was a response to terrorism when India hit terror targets, much as Israel has hit terror targets in West Asia. Israeli weapons were a critical part of that, a really critical part of that. And that's been a very important part of our defense relationship. We have a model called Atmanirbharta, where we want foreign partners to build in India, to work with India, to make in India, to integrate with India, to set up your factories. Does that work from an Israeli standpoint?
When Minister Piyush Goyal and his wife came to Israel, I took them to see the ancient city of Jerusalem, the archaeology underneath the ground. And at the end of it, Mr. Goyal said to me how close we are, how similar the two peoples are. We're peoples of thousands of years of history, ancient people with a lot of respect to human life. We're both challenged by terror. Radical Islam is challenging on both of us in similar ways. And the friendship between the two people make that bond so strong. So I honestly believe that when we have sophisticated weaponry, we only share it with our best friends. And that is exactly what's happening. We have a great relationship between the two leaders, Modi and Netanyahu, great relationship with the two governments, and Piyush Goyal and Jay Shankar and myself. And I honestly believe that you're going to see huge growth on all sectors. This is strategic. It's not going to change in the foreseeable future. Thank God.
Minister Barkat, wonderful speaking to you. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
And I think it's in everyone's interest that there is peace in West Asia, and indeed the scourge of terrorism is dealt with effectively. Thank you very much, sir.
My honor and pleasure.